Picture this. You and your family are shipwrecked on an island with no tools, no shelter, and no food. What would you do? How would you survive? Well, that's exactly what these people had to do when their ship ran aground on a deserted island. Fortunately, they were rescued after 13 days, but not before enduring hunger, dehydration, and the elements. So how did they make it? Let's find out in today's video. Stranded on a desert island. The year was 1980 when the yacht named Tahiti I sailed from Tahiti to Hawaii. On board were 4 people, 2 couples, husband and wife Perry and Merle, and another couple, Mike and Laura. After sailing for several weeks, the crew began to experience engine problems. Despite the rough seas, they managed to reach the Hawaiian island of Kauai. However, their joy was short-lived because as they approached the shore, strong winds and large waves smashed against the hull of the boat, causing it to run aground on a sandbar. The 4 of them knew that they had to act fast. If the tide went down while they were still on the boat, they would be trapped there forever. Luckily, the tide started coming back up just as they finished unloading the supplies from the yacht. As soon as the boat was empty, the 4 of them waded into the shallow water and pulled it away from the beach. Once they got it far enough from the shoreline, they anchored it and hoped that another boat would come along and rescue them. Unfortunately, nobody came. In fact, the yacht was so far off the coast that even if someone had wanted to come help, they wouldn't have been able to because of the strong currents and high waves. So they were completely stranded. Edible plants. Although the people didn't have any food with them when they beached the boat, they did have some snacks that they kept in their car. In total, they had 3 bags of peanuts, 2 packages of cheese, 1 package of salami, and 1 box of raisins. This was barely enough to hold them over for a day, let alone the 13 days they were actually stranded. So they began looking around the island for edible plants. Eventually, they found a patch of wild grapevines. Later on, they found a fig tree, which provided them with sweet, juicy figs that tasted like scooping pure brown sugar into your mouth. They also discovered breadfruit trees, which have large, bumpy fruits that taste similar to a starchy potato. But by far, the best thing they found to eat was coconuts. Coconuts are not only delicious, but they're also a great source of hydration. Fresh water. Finding food wasn't the only challenge the group faced. They also had to find a way to get fresh water. After all, they didn't want to drink salty ocean water. Luckily, there was a small stream on the island that had fresh water flowing through it. That's why it was so easy to rehydrate, shelter, and clothing. Another challenge was finding shelter. Since the group had no tools, they couldn't build anything, so they had to stick with what Mother Nature provided. Initially, they stayed in the car, but when the rain came, they realized they needed to move to a cave on the other side of the island. The cave had a rock roof that kept them dry during rainstorms, but at night, they used the fig leaves as a blanket to stay warm. As for clothing, they stripped off their wet clothes and put on dry ones. When those ran out, they used the large leaves from the breadfruit tree. They cut the leaves into strips and made loincloths to wear around their hips. Rescue. The group stayed in the cave for 6 days until they finally saw a helicopter flying above them. They quickly built a fire and made a huge sign on the beach that read SOS. The helicopter flew past them without noticing the sign, so they moved to higher ground and waved their shirts. This time, the pilot saw them, and soon enough, the 4 castaways were winched onto the helicopter one by one. By some miracle, they had survived 13 days on the island. When the people on the island realized they were being rescued, they left their cave completely naked except for the loincloths they had fashioned out of the breadfruit leaves. The pilot later said he had never seen anyone so happy to be rescued. He also admitted that he felt a sense of relief, knowing that he was the one who finally found them. After the ordeal, the group was taken to a local hospital where they were treated for dehydration and malnutrition. Miraculously, none of them had sustained any serious injuries during their time on the island. It was nothing short of a miracle that they had survived 13 days with no food or water. When asked how they managed to survive, they simply shrugged and said, "We just did." Maybe it was their determination to live, or maybe it was their positive attitude that helped them survive. Whatever it was clear that these 4 people were incredibly resilient. So, what would you do if you found yourself stranded on a desert island? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.